Hi! Giglad 5.1 is out with several important updates, one of which is Portamento added to the native sampler. Let me show you how it works. Portamento is a processor, just like amp, filter and pitch, so you can add it here. Since it affects pitch, it's located in the pitch column as a separate tab at the bottom. Portamento can be set individually for every layer. If you need the same settings for every layer, create it on all layers and just link them temporarily by holding the Command or Control keys while selecting them. There is a time slider that sets the glide time between the notes. The time can be absolute or relative. In practice, this means it can either remain constant regardless of the interval between the notes, or scale the time depending on the distance between them. The reference point defines the starting position of the next note's sample during the Portamento transition. There are 4 options: Auto, Sample Start, Loop Start, and User. Auto mode uses the current playing position of the sample and continues the next sample from that same position. Sample Start always begins the new sample from the beginning. Loop Start begins playback of the next sample from the Loop Start position. User mode allows you to manually select the exact starting point using a slider. This is particularly useful for achieving realistic results with instruments like guitars, saxophones, and other acoustic sources. The limit slider restricts Portamento behavior to a defined interval range. For example, if set to 2, Portamento will only apply to notes within 2 semitones. Larger intervals will play monophonically, but without Portamento. The poly on and poly off button is linked to this behavior. With poly off, you still get monophonic behavior, but Portamento is disabled beyond the set limit. With poly on, both monophonic behavior and Portamento are disabled outside this limit. This is especially useful for guitars, where you want Portamento and mono behavior only for neighboring notes, while still allowing polyphonic playing for larger intervals. The curve slider controls the shape of the glide curve, whether it's linear, exponential, or logarithmic. In simple terms, this lets you define how the Portamento speed behaves. It can start slow and accelerate, or start fast and slow down towards the end. This is a very important feature that allows you to emulate real instruments, as well as certain classic analog synth behaviors. Portamento operates in 2 modes, mono and legato. In mono mode, glide always occurs between notes. In legato mode, glide only happens when notes overlap. Staccato notes will play normally. There are also 2 triggering modes, retrigger and repitch. A retrigger starts a new sample for each note. This is useful for natural instruments, especially when combined with the reference point for more realistic articulation. Repitch doesn't retrigger the sample, it simply glides the currently playing voice to the new pitch. This is more suitable for synth sounds and smooth transitions. Keep in mind that when retrigger is enabled, Portamento respects amp and filter envelope modulators. Be mindful of attack and release settings to avoid clicks. Finally, Portamento time can be modulated using velocity. This allows real-time control while playing. Hitting keys more softly can result in longer glide times, which is useful for expressive effects like glissando over fast-playing passages. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Bye.